Washington lawmakers are expected to vote on lifting a ban on exporting U.S. crude oil. Joining us on 710 KURV, Dan Kish is with the American Energy Alliance. Let's get some history, some background, because we're talking about a generational gap, literally here. Why is there a ban on exporting U.S. crude?
Yeah, Sergio, good morning. We're talking about a two-generation ban, in essence, that was put in place back during the early 70s because of the Arab oil embargo and some price controls that were then in place on producers of U.S. oil. Congress and the president put price controls saying you could only make this much on a barrel of oil. And then they said, well, gee, if we allow them to export as we've done for decades before that, they'll actually sell into the market where people can make more. Therefore, they had to put a ban on it as well. Both ideas were bad. Didn't make economic sense.
Yeah.
But what ultimately happened was they lifted the price controls, of course, in the early 80s. And the ban, however, remained in place to this day.
Now, because of fracking, suddenly America becomes the number one producer of energy on the planet. Now we've got some excess to sell to the market. So who would sop it up first?
Well, hopefully, it would provide a huge benefit to our allies who are currently dependent upon places like Russia in the Middle East. It would give them some competition, put American workers back to work, and lessen the influence of Vladimir Putin with our friends in Europe.
What are the chances that this U.S. crude oil export ban is lifted? How's it looking right now up in D.C.?
Well, anything's tough in D.C., I think, as most people understand, but there is bipartisan support for this, and folks have worked to cultivate that because there's a lot of people who would benefit from it. And the president hasn't said absolutely no over my dead body, although he's expressed his reservations about it. And what is interesting is a large number of people who've worked in the national security and economic realm for the president in his administration who are now out of it have come out in favor of it. And so hope springs eternal when it comes to Washington doing the right thing.
From American Energy Alliance, Dan Kish, and he's monitoring the move in D.C. to lift an export ban on U.S. crude oil, sell it to the market, specifically sell it to Europe. The combined economies of the European Union, they produce as much as the U.S. economy as far as gross domestic product. So that's a very, very big market. Here in Deep South Texas, we might benefit as a new export node. We're already talking about liquefied natural gas down here, but exporting crude to Europe, boy, that's a huge potential job creation engine. Dan, what needs to happen next for this to become reality?
Well, the House of Representatives is going to vote on it on Friday, and after that, the Senate, two committees in the Senate have already passed legislation, and then it's up to the Senate to do its magic. As I said, there's a lot of hope that working together, people will do the right thing here. It'd be good for America, good for Texas, good for our national security.
How quickly would we see the economic benefits from this new policy if they were to approve it soon, before the end of the year? Could we see it within 6 months, 12 months? What is it?
Absolutely. We'd see it almost immediately. As soon as the ban was lifted, we would see a shift in the U.S. price of oil more towards a world market price of oil. It's just a couple of dollars spread. But then we would also use efficiencies that would be created in our own refining system. So gas prices would actually go down, but we would put people back to work in places like Texas that have contributed to making us the number one energy producer.
Well, keep us posted. Dan Kish with American Energy Alliance. Thanks for joining us on 710 KURV.